this freezing afternoon, it's a warm welcome again indeed to the big match. Today, without question, we have the most remarkable match of the season. It's Brighton against Bristol Rovers. And for those of you who know the score, you'll know what I mean. For those who amazingly like to keep themselves away from newspapers until after the big match, all I can say is that you really are in for something special. The man at the centre of that game was Brighton manager Brian Clough, and he's with us again this afternoon. And two special guests today. Indeed, they're on their way from the airport now to join us live, the West German stars Franz Beckenbauer and Uli Hoeneß, a real treat. Our other matches today, Leicester City against Spurs and Leeds United against Queen's Park Rangers. But first, let's go down to Brighton, and it's to the Goldstone ground in bright winter sunshine, but with no hint at all of the things that we're about to follow. Out there on the pitch are two goalkeepers with contrasting fortunes before this game. And one of them, who'll be in the Brighton and Hove Albion goal this afternoon, is Brian Powney, beaten 4 times by the amateurs of Walton and Hersham in the Cup. And for Bristol Rovers, Jim Eadie, who in one spell this season went 708 minutes without conceding a goal. Now to the teams. First, Brighton. They make a couple of changes from the side beaten by Walton and Hersham. There's no place for Barry Bridges in his number 7 shirt. That goes to Tony Towner. And Ken Beamish returns after injury to number 8. It's a side that clearly needs to put things right. As for Bristol Rovers, everything is going right for them. Unbeaten still in the league and proudly at the top of the 3rd division. And this is just about their strongest side. Warboys and Bannister, their main strikers. Prince, a real little dynamo in the middle of the field. The referee today at the Goldstone ground, incidentally, is Tommy Dawes of Suffolk. And this is his last year on the referee's list. The crowd at Brighton is just about 11,000 strong. Now stand by for the action.
And it's Brighton and Hove Albion who kick off, attacking the goal to our left in blue and white striped shirts with white shorts. Good header away there by Parsons for Bristol Rovers in a change trip this afternoon of tangerine shirts and black shorts. Towner on the far side and across there towards Beamish and Hilton. But that time it was Mike Green who got it away for Bristol Rovers, a side that have conceded only 7 goals in 18 league games this season. A really astonishing defensive record by Bristol Rovers that has helped so much to put them at top of the 3rd division, but they're under a bit of pressure now. And it's Fernley who comes right the way back. But now it's Robertson for Brighton, the tall number 10. Played towards Hilton, but it comes instead to O'Sullivan. Onto the right foot and low. And Beamish was right in there. But there was, I think, probably an offside decision there. And so it's a goal kick to Bristol Rovers. This is Jim Eadie, man who won the on-the-ball safekeeping title last season. 687 minutes without being beaten. Spirit rather buffeting Bannister there. And now it's Dobson, virtually with his first touch. And Warboys now being chased by Norman Gall. And Gall was quite clearly holding him back. And this is a goal! Yes! Scored by Bannister. And Bristol Rovers in the lead with 4 minutes gone. Bruce Bannister the scorer, but a good run down the left by Warboys. He held off Norman Gall, crossed it in, and it could either have been the number 7 Fernley or Bannister who got the touch. Finally it was Bannister though, and that makes Bristol Rovers 1-0 ahead. So Brighton, who wanted so desperately to repair the damage done by Walton and Hersham here in midweek, when they lost 4-0 in the Cup to the amateurs, had a crushing setback so early in the game, after they, in fact, had all the running, and that was the first Rovers attack. But here they come again, Brighton Hove Albion. Parsons, though. Bannister, although George Lay got there before him. Taylor following it out. Spirit with the header there. Robertson. Templeman. And again, Parsons quite easily able to get that one away. Prince couldn't get to that one, though. And now it's Brighton once more setting up the attack. The sun hasn't really come to that penalty area. They've been in the shadow of the stand, and players are finding it just a little bit difficult to keep their feet in that area. Jacobs might have to stretch to keep that in, but he does. Well, I thought he did, but the linesman thought otherwise. And so it's a throw to Brighton. It'll be Lammy Robertson, number 10. O'Sullivan. Back for Robertson. Gently played forward again towards Hilton, who tried to turn it off into the path of O'Sullivan. Another throw for Brighton. O'Sullivan, Robertson, played in the game for George Lay, and Taylor once more getting it away to Warboys. Bannister once more to Warboys, and Dobson in a lot of space down the left. Here's Dobson. And 3 Rovers players up wanting the ball, and there's number 7, Fernley, and that's number 2, a beautiful goal. Beautiful breakaway by Bristol Rovers, with Brighton once again all over the place. Played beautifully across the field to Dobson, who was again making beautiful strides down the left. 3 players again were in position in the middle, and it was Fernley's header that tucks it wide of Powney. 2-0. And Gordon Fernley, the man who scored it. So 12 minutes gone, and the disasters continue to fall upon Bristol, fall upon Brighton and Hove Albion. After that cup defeat, this. 2 down in 12 minutes. Templeman away. And a foul there, giving Brighton the free kick. No comment needed there. O'Sullivan to Robertson. Played on by Hilton to Robertson again. Beamish is up ahead of him, but still it's with Robertson, and now with Beamish. And 2, 4, 6, 7 defenders plus the goalkeeper are back already for Bristol Rovers. Signs of good organisation inside that Bristol Rovers defence, as I suppose you'd expect from a manager like Don Megson, defender of such distinction over the years with Sheffield Wednesday. Nice little payoff there to O'Sullivan, wanting perhaps a little too much time, but then getting in his shot, and he scored! O'Sullivan! 2-1. Well, it looked for a while as though O'Sullivan had taken too much time, but he got it onto his right foot, and having got it there, put it wide of Jim Eadie, and that makes it 2-1. Brighton 1, Bristol Rovers 2. And when you think that Bristol Rovers have conceded only 7 goals in 18 league games, that really is quite an achievement by this fella to have pierced that defence. So Jim Eadie has been beaten. Norman Gall, real long service player at Brighton. Spirit and Howe are getting in each other's way. O'Sullivan losing it to Jacobs. Warboys turned on for Fernley. Controlled beautifully there by Gordon Fernley. Now for Jacobs again, hit across their goal. Bannister's header, and there it is, another one. So as a variation, they worked it down the right, with Trevor Jacobs, the number 2, linking up well with that attack. The cross hit low, and Bannister turning it in. So Bruce Bannister gets his 2nd goal. Bristol Rovers get their 3rd. And Don Megson in the centre, a man who's done so much for Bristol football, must be very relieved indeed. Taking it back nicely there from Dobson. The long ball there towards Warboys from Parsons. Well, there was a handball there by Lay, giving a free kick to Bristol Rovers. Tommy Dawes going across to have a word with George Lay about deliberate handball. It seems he was. Just a quiet cautionary word. Stanton now behind this free kick. Tom Stanton and Warboys. Just 3 men in that Brighton and Hove Albion wall. Number 9 is Warboys. But number 8 coming to the picture is Stanton. It's Warboys who hits it. And this is going to be the next one. And it's the hat-trick for Bruce Bannister. A beautifully hit free kick, fumbled there by Powney, and Bannister a simple job of tapping it in to give himself a hat-trick in 31 minutes.
And the fourth goal for Bristol Rovers was again scored by Bannister.
So now Brighton really in the depths of despair. Just 32 minutes gone. 4 goals conceded against the amateurs Walton and Hersham in midweek. And already another 4 conceded here this afternoon inside 31 minutes. Burnley now to Bannister, covering so much ground, Bannister, popping up in all the right places. There's the header that time by Warboys, but a goal kick to Brighton. They look so impressive when they come forward with a lot of skill, some accurate passing, and 3 or 4 players who clearly know where goal is. Bristol Rovers. Beamish to O'Sullivan for Brighton. Taylor away. And here's Bannister once more. And again, Warboys right in there as his ally. Played off this time for Stanton. Completely missed his kick. Prince instead. Dobson on the far side in a lot of space. Curling it through once more. There's Warboys! Number 5! Unbelievable stuff here by Bristol Rovers. 5 goals away from home. And still only 38 minutes gone. And Warboys meeting that cross from Dobson, beautifully picking his spot in the corner. 5-1.
And the 5th goal for Bristol Rovers was scored by Warboys.
So there he is, Alan Warboys, 5-1. And certainly the Rovers showing just why they are leading everybody else in the 3rd division. Everybody so far, I think, has taken note of their quite amazing defensive record. But they've shown here at the Goldstone Ground this afternoon that they are an attacking side with tremendous skill. Here's O'Sullivan for Brighton. Robertson with the throw for Brighton. O'Sullivan just keeping it in. But it'll be a goal kick to Bristol Rovers. Trevor Jacobs keeping his head well there, just clipping it off O'Sullivan, making sure that Bristol Rovers got the goal kick and not Brighton the corner. Well, he's been beaten only once, Jamidi. Brian Powney, he's had 5 put past him. As the whistle goes for half-time, and a remarkable first half it's been. Bristol Rovers have really taken all the competition out of this game. Bruce Bannister with a hat-trick that he scored in 31 minutes, the number 10, with the other goals coming for Bristol Rovers by Fernley and Warboys, with O'Sullivan scoring the lone Brighton goal. A lot to come on the big match today. But a half-time score here at the Goldstone Ground, which is a pretty gloomy place at the moment, that reads Brighton 1, Bristol Rovers 5, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes with the second half. So now we pick up this remarkable game at the start of the second half. As we say, welcome back. And this time it'll be Bristol Rovers who kick off, attacking the goal now to our left. 5-1 ahead. Warboys with a header. Robertson away. Now it's Prince. Oh, that must go back as the most surprising pass back of the season. Well, more than half the pitch. He was inside the Brighton half when Prince played it. So the substitute, Graham Howe. Dobson. Rovers throw, Colin Dobson with it. Bannister, back again for Dobson. Looks so he might beat Templeman on the turn here. Did very well indeed, and it was the fist of the way there, only as far as Stanton, and another magnificent save there by Powney. First of all, a good punch, and then as Stanton cracked in the return, somehow Powney got across and turned it away once more. Tremendous shot there by Stanton, Tom Stanton. So a corner then to Bristol Rovers. Green was in there, but beaten in the air that time. Fernley hitting it low, and there was trouble again there for Powney. But he snatched it back before the number 10, Bruce Bannister, could get in. Ron Howe, cut out though by Green. Warboys played for Dobson. And there's Bannister off once more. I think he was half looking for a penalty there, but he looked in vain. I don't think he really expected it. Ron Howe. Handball there by Frank Prince. Free kick to Brighton. Prince again. Spirit. Straight to Dobson. And into the path now of Warboys. This will be the number 6, I would think, and it is! A real smash and grab again, where Dobson and then Bannister between them. Bannister's final pass to Warboys round the goalkeeper, and that's 6-1. So the fans who've come up from Bristol have got plenty to celebrate going back. Their pace-making side in the 3rd division now 6-1 ahead.
And the 6th goal for Bristol Rovers was for Warboys.
Graham Howe. And now Fernley. So now a Brighton player down and injured. Lammy Robertson. Well, the young Clough sons have something to smile about. I don't think Dad's got too much to smile about, though. Simon and Nigel Clough. There's the face of a man, really, who must be wondering what on earth hit him this afternoon. And Fernley, unmarked, well inside that Brighton area. Turned what should have been a chance very well wide there, Gordon Fernley. Indeed, this fellow, Brian Powney, must wonder what on earth has happened to him this afternoon, or indeed in the last week. 6 conceded this afternoon, another 4 in midweek. Now this will come for O'Sullivan. He's slipped Jacobs. Fernley coming back, obstructing him, free kick. Turn towards Hilton, but Taylor quite easily being able to nod that one away. He must tower a good 7 or 8 inches above Hilton. Stanton, the Bristol Rovers player, in a bit of trouble on the far side, just getting to his feet now. Parsons playing a long ball forward. Warboys is onside. Is this going to be his hat-trick? It is! That's number 7 for Bristol Rovers. The long run from just inside the Brighton half, and Warboys cracking it with a great sureness. left-footed, his hat-trick, and Bristol Rovers 7. Well, while the Bristol Rovers fans are celebrating, and while Brighton are wondering what on earth they can do about it. Parsons getting his head to it, and Prince. Robertson trying to get Towner away once more. A free kick to Brighton, given against Parsons. Not happy with the decision. Now, can Brighton get a second goal from this situation as Towner crosses it? No, they can't, because it goes straight to Frank Prince. Here's Ron Howe. And Towner's going to struggle to get this one over, but he does, and he does it very well. Green got it away for Bristol Rovers. And then Parsons to Bannister. So nifty on the ground, Bannister. He had a little bit of luck there, and he spotted Burnley onside. Now, Powney well outside his area. Spirit. Stanton. Spirit away. To Beamish. O'Sullivan. Towner. No, stopped again by Taylor. Or rather by Green. And here's Warboys onside. The linesman's kept his flag down. And that's his 4th goal. And Bristol Rovers 8th. I think Brighton felt there was a little bit of offside about it, but the linesman on this side of the field, directly in line, kept his flag down, waved Warboys on, and Warboys tucked it past Powney for the 8th time this afternoon, and for the 4th time that he's done it. It's a long time since we've had an away win of this magnitude. And I'll give you that score once again in case you can't believe it either. Brighton 1, Bristol Rovers 8. And there's still 19 minutes left. Hilton chasing it for Brighton. But Parsons was chasing still harder. Towner with the throw. Templeman to Towner. And Eady, a safe catch under his crossbar. Fernley to Bannister. Played on again for Fernley. Oh, Fernley's gone past his man. There's the cross again towards Warboys, and Bannister's in there too. It's still not away. It's still not away. Now Stanton. He tried to curl it. Took just a little too much time. Prince pumping it back again. And that time, Powney made the catch to the ironic cheers of the Brighton crowd. Brighton at the moment in tatters in defence. But even though Brighton are in tatters defensively, you've got also to say that Bristol Rovers have taken their goals superbly. Howe. Green was first to react, though. Tried to find Fernley on the far side. Beamish, savaged a little bit behind there by Mike Green. Free kick to Brighton again. Templeman. Hilton losing it. Well, no, his courage carried him through, and it found Towner. A low cross this time. And there it goes. That's the second one for Brighton. Scored by Ron Howe. luck in keeping going. At least they deserved it for that. Ron Howell, the scorer, as the ball was hit across low. It only half came out. He crashed it back in, off a defender, I think, but past Eady to make it Brighton 2, Bristol Rovers 8. A most improbable scoreline. War boys now. And here come Brighton again. But Parsons for Bristol Rovers. Prince for Bristol Rovers. Across again as Dobson comes in and fisted away there that time by Powney. And now Brighton, can they get another one on the rebound? It's Towner leading the charge for them. Howell, the scorer of the second goal now, playing it inside here to Robertson. And Templeman tried to link up but got beaten, and now it's virtually 3 against 3. Bannister, and it hit goal. It's still with Bannister. Now it's with War Boys. And he hits the crossbar. Here's Fernley. Turning again, and he might get another go. No, it goes for the corner. Tremendous shot there against that Brighton crossbar. And even then, Fernley very nearly managed to turn it back into the path of Bannister. But it's a corner instead to Bristol Rovers. What a tremendous flourish to a most remarkable game of football. Fernley with this corner. War Boys hoped to get in, but he was pushing. And we're now in injury time at the end of the game. The light's still very good here, thankfully, here at the Goldstone ground. Although I suppose that Brighton must be cursing that the television cameras choose this of all days to visit them when they're beaten by 8 goals to 2. 4 of those Bristol Rovers 8 goals coming from Allen War Boys, with 3 of them coming from Bruce Bannister, the number 10. As the children come swarming on, there's Bannister just getting free of them, going back to that dressing room, with the other goal coming from Fernley, with O'Sullivan and Howe scoring the 2 Brighton goals. The final scoreline then at the Goldstone ground: Brighton 2, Bristol Rovers 8.
Indeed, what a devastating day there for Brighton. Let's go straight to their manager, Brian Clough. There was a lot of speculation, Brian, this morning as to whether you would turn up today.
Well, obviously they were wrong, and they don't know me.
Has it been a bit of a hangover for you there?
It was a terrible night last night, you know. I've got my family down at Brighton, tried to house hunt, and being on the receiving end of 8 goals is not very easy. But you get up next morning, the sun was shining, and here I am wanting to talk football, wanting to discuss Brighton and any other aspect of the game you would like.
I tell you, the thing that occurred to me yesterday was that I think, talking to you in World of Sport last night and listening to your press conference at Brighton as well, that is the most astonishing attack I've ever heard a manager deliver about his players, and no doubt you felt it was justified. And we really don't want to cover that ground again, I'm sure you don't. But the thing that interests me is, how do you now get them to play for you again? You said they hadn't got a thimbleful of heart between them.
Well, on that particular 90 minutes, they didn't have. Things went wrong right from the start of the match, and this got on top of them, plus our cup exit last Wednesday, and they just caved in. They were raw, you know, they couldn't cope with this type of pressure, and they caved in. And they've got to have more spirit and more heart to play professional football than they showed yesterday.
But after what you said, can you get it back into them in
I can
time
get it
for
back
next-
into them because I can show it to them how they caved in, and I can tell them why they caved in, and I can ask them to behave like men. And I'm certain that when they see the full picture, they will start doing just that.
Well, I'm sure they will have watched it this afternoon. Let's have a look now again at 3 of those Bristol Rovers goals, taken so well, and get your comments on these, Brian. This is the very first goal after only 4 minutes.
Yeah, and it's a killer because it's early on. It's a long ball down our right flank. Centre-half goes quite well with the centre-forward, but he's a big, strong lad, Warboys. Flicks it past him. A few arms pushing and shoving there. There was a rare old tussle going on, but this is where we were completely disorganised. We have got 4 players in the box, but not one of our players marking any either of those. Goalkeeper has no chance, and it's straight in the back of the net by a side foot. It was a bad goal to concede at any time, but in the first 4 minutes it was a killer.
The great thing about Rovers is the number of players they got into your penalty box. They really did pile men in there.
Yeah, they did, because we were not awfully keen on defending. This is what I was talking about heart. It takes a heart to defend, as well as skill and ability. Watch this incident here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players where that ball came across.
And they've got 3 to your 2.
Yeah, eventually they have, and still, even if they got 5 to our 1, we're still entitled to have one of them marked, and nobody's marked there at all. The goalkeeper was stranded, hadn't got a prayer. I'm very sorry for the goalkeeper.
You gave the ball away a lot. Here's a prime example of this in the second half.
Well, this, of course, was inevitable. Having conceded the goals we were conceded, no confidence whatsoever. We were just getting rid of it. We didn't want it at our feet. Jobson did quite well then. Bannister does even better. It was a good ball. And there's that very honest man, the centre-half, way stranded. Warboys goes round the goalkeeper again and puts it in the empty net.
Brian, you had problems on the field, but I thought your crowd was brilliant yesterday. They really were behind you in spite of all the troubles. But they must be saying now, when is he going to do something and how is he going to do it?
Well, they'll be asking how many players I'm going to sign and when I'm going to sign them, and I don't dictate these type of things. I can only buy players from managers who are willing to sell. We will get players eventually and we will sign some. But how and when, you know, that's a different thing altogether.
What sort of time factor would be involved, though?
Well,
I mean, is it a matter of days, weeks, or what?
You know, 8-2 is a hell of a shattering result, but I've got to remind you, I think we've been there 5, 6, 7 matches, and that's the first league match we've actually lost. We've not won a lot, obviously, but it's the first one we've lost. You know, the stand hasn't caved in. Brighton hasn't disappeared into the sea. They're in perhaps a worse position now than they were last week, but that's all. We've improved the position, and nobody's going to panic Peter Taylor and I into doing anything we don't want to do. If we've got to sit through 8-2 defeats for the next 6 weeks before the type of player who we require comes on the market, we'll do just that. And no newspapers, television or anything will move us from this particular style.
I think we should have a quick word about Bristol Rovers, who were absolutely brilliant, just as Brighton were so disappointing. And all credit to Don Megson and his boys, who look such a good side. But, Brian, I've got to finish with this. It was something that appeared in the Daily Express this week, a brilliant cartoon, and Roy Elliott, the cartoonist, wanted you to have it. Can you read what it says?
I can read it very clear.
What does it
Sir
say?
Ralph, Brian here, and a big help. I'll ask help from anybody, even Sir Ralph.